Hey guys, here we are at part 8 of the story where Naruto is Jinchuriki of 9 tails as well as he is heir of Sage of 6 paths as well Minato Namikaze. We will see as Naruto takes on Shinobi world by storm. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe button. Now, let's jump right in. Waterfall Country, Akatsuki hideout. It was dark and damp in the hideout when Naruto awoke groggily. After quickly getting his bearings he saw that his arms and legs were restrained and he appeared to be on some kind of platform surrounded by what looked like a crystal. His first thought was to punch it but it didn't break, then he tried his signature jutsu but found that his chakra was completely sealed off. I wouldn't bother trying to escape Senju Naruto. He spun around quickly and came face to face with his worst enemy, Uchiha Madara. I think you've got me mistaken with someone else, Naruto said finally knowing he was already captured. Madara chuckled slightly at that. You're right but that doesn't change the fact that you are a Senju and a wielder of the Rinnegan to boot. You even have Hashirama's will of fire. I despise you and everything you stand for. The feeling is mutual team, Naruto shot back and glared through the crystal. Even now you are unafraid of me, even now knowing that I will kill you, you still refuse to bow before the superiority of the Uchiha. Madara shook his head as if he were talking to a child. Could you be any more full of yourself? Just because my ancestor and your ancestor were brothers and you ancestor just so happened to have a battle fan shoved up his ass sure as hell doesn't make him superior. I think I speak for everyone all over the Shinobi world when I tell you to fuck off, Naruto bit back with a wide grin. You really don't understand the severity of the situation, do you? What I am trying to accomplish. The Senju were always the favored child of the Rikudo Senin but even Hashirama and you have to come up with a plan to bring this world the peace that the Rikudo Senin sought. I have, Madara declared almost gloatingly. Peace? Any peace you create will end in nothing but misery, Naruto responded in disgust. Everything will become one with me, it will be a perfect union and I will finally be complete, Madara began. What are you talking about? Naruto asked confused. At the dawn of the Shinobi world the Rikudo Senin became known as a god among Shinobi. The Moon's Eye plan is connected to what made him become worshipped as a god. You see he saved the world from a monster. A monster which was a fusion of all of the Bijou of today known as a Juubi, the Akatsuki agent explained and Naruto fell quiet. The Rikudo Senin divided the Juubi's chakra into the 9 Bijou with the Kyuubi as the last and most powerful one of them all. In order to protect the world from the Juubi, the Rikudo Senin created a new jutsu which is still in use today as the jutsu which seals away a Bijou into a child, Madara explained. Are you saying he willingly created a Jinchuriki to save the world? Naruto asked after another moment of silence. He turned himself into a Jinchuriki in order to stop the monster and become its prison, at least temporarily. He saved the world from the Juubi and became worshipped as a god, but the demon's chakra was too powerful and deadly. When he discovered that the seal would break once he died and he knew it would wreak havoc on the world again. On his deathbed he divided the Juubi into the Bijou of today and sealed the Juubi's body and soul into the sky. Naruto, I don't have to tell you what jutsu he used to act as the Juubi's permanent prison, Madara said. Naruto knew what he was referring to, Chibaku Tensei. Madara nodded knowingly, correct. The moon that you see at night is the largest Chibaku Tensei ever constructed. A true monument to the Rikudo Senin and his divine power. So you want the Juubi and I guess the only way for you to get it is by fusing the 9 Bijou back together. But what do you plan to do once you actually have a Juubi? Naruto asked confused and intrigued. Madara chuckled at that and explained clearly. I want to become the Juubi Jinchuriki and use its power to complete my Moon Eye plan. With its power I will be able to use Mugen Tsukuyomi and cast it on the moon. I will be able to cast an illusion over everyone on Earth. I will control everyone and everything on Earth with my Genjutsu and the world will finally become one. A world without ill will or strife, everything will become one with me. Everything will become united, that is my Moon's Eye plan, Madara declared. Make the world one? I think Danzo said something similar right before I killed him. If you think Konoha will just stand by and watch then you've gone senile old man. You will lose, Naruto said finally. I must say I am surprised Senju Naruto. A revelation of this magnitude and still you don't falter an inch. Not that it matters, you will be dead soon enough, Madara chuckled slightly and turned away. Why did you tell me this? I'm going to die anyways so why tell me? Naruto asked him. You're a Senju, I wanted to see the look on your face when you found out exactly how far the Uchiha have surpassed you, Madara spoke simply. Now nighty-night little Senju, Madara clicked his fingers and Naruto suddenly collapsed against the crystal, clearly unconscious. Madara started down the corridor where the sealing room was located and where the zombie twins were finishing their preparations for the first extraction. Soon the world will be mine. Pain's hologram appeared in the central chamber and he spoke clearly to the room, "Assemble." Suddenly the remaining members of Akatsuki appeared in the room, either as another hologram or in person. "Once we're done with the Nibi we'll seal the QB, it'll take 4 days so prepare yourselves. Stay aware of your physical forms and Zetsu, have your physical body stand guard. Use the one with the greatest range, got it?" "Understood," Zetsu nodded. Pain looked down at the body of Yugito lying on the ground and said, "Let's begin. Fuinjutsu, Genre Q Fujin." Enemies approached the hideout, White Zetsu reported. "How many enemies and who are they?" Pain questioned. "Several teams of Konoha nins led Senju Tsunade and Uzumaki Tuya," Black Zetsu replied. "Hidan, Kakuzu, you two head out and intercept them. Keep them from interfering," Pain ordered. "Uzumaki Tuya, she has an interesting bounty on her head," Kakuzu mused as he disappeared from the room. "Wait for me Kakuzu. Jashin-sama demands I be the one to kill them," Hidan called as he dashed after his partner. "Hidan, shut up," Kakuzu said simply as they disappeared. Once they were gone Pain turned to Madara and said, "We should move the QB out of here now and extract it at another location. We may be able to finish extracting the Nibi but once the task force from Konoha gets here we will be unable to extract the QB if we remain. I'll move him to the hideout on the grass country border once we finish with her," Madara stated. "I can see peace," Pain thought as he returned his attention to the task at hand. Waterfall country, forest. Tuya dashed through the trees as quickly as she could, constantly keeping herself from trying to overtake Tsunade who was in charge of all Konoha forces while the Hokage was unavailable. She still couldn't believe what had happened after Madara had captured the weakened Naruto and Yugito who were exhausted from their battles with two extremely powerful opponents, Akatsuki agents with unnatural strength. After Madara had kidnapped them, the other Kiges voted to join together in an alliance against Akatsuki forcing Tuya to represent Konoha at the summit and a man named Daru to represent Kumo. They had all immediately returned to their homes in order to notify their respective villages of what has happened. Since Naruto had stated clearly that Tsunade was in charge of Konoha while he was gone she was naturally given tactical command of the situation regarding Konoha and she immediately put together a response and rescue team which included her. Sai had placed tracking devices on both Naruto and Yugito while at the summit on Naruto's order should Akatsuki try anything. Naruto thought it was a necessary precaution, he was right. They had tracked the signal deep within Waterfall country and they had notified the other villages before heading out to try and rescue their Hokage and by proxy the Raikage. They didn't have much time, it had already been 3 days since the pair were captured and if they didn't reach them soon then it would be too late. "You did well Tuya, you can rest now, I've got this." Nisan, the redhead thought as the memory flashed through her mind. "Hey Tuya. Trade ya?" "Yugito, I should have been there," Tuya continued and suddenly felt a hand on her shoulder. She looked over and saw it was Sai. "You shouldn't worry too much, they'll be fine," Sai reassured her. "Dickman, Sai," Tuya nodded. "Thanks," she whispered and turned her attention back to the front. Despite what many believed Sai was learning quite quickly how to understand the atmosphere of a situation. It was something he had been working on since joining Team Naruto and he could tell Tuya was worried for her brother and her best friend more than anyone else besides Tsunade. "Futon, Atsugai? Katen, Zukaku!" Two voiced exclaimed from above. Above us, Kiba shouted as a massive blast of heat and fire descended on the group. "Fujutsu Kyuin," Tuya whispered as she held up her hands and absorbed the large blast as 6 figured dropped down in front of them. "Akatsuki?" Ino asked as she looked them over. 4 of them appeared to be some kind of black web monsters while the other 2 actually looked human. "It would seem so," Sai confirmed and threw a volley of shuriken at Hidan. Hidan grinned and deflected them with his scythe before flinging it out and forcing Sai to dodge to the side as it slashed at him. "He's fast." "Raiten, John," Kakuzu exclaimed as lightning erupted from one of the masks attached to one of the creatures. Fujutsu Kyuin, again Tuya absorbed the attack but fell to one knee under its force. Tsunade appeared above the 2 Akatsuki agents and swung her leg down. "Sutenchaku," she called out, smashing the area into a crater. "Kakuzu," Hidan called in surprise as he slid away. "I hardened my body with Domu at the last second so I'm alright," Kakuzu answered as he recovered as well. "He's got some jutsu that allows him to harden his body? Sounds similar to Yugito-chan's lightning jutsu," Tsunade mused. Tsunade of the Sannin, renowned for her medical knowledge but more importantly her super strength. I must say it has been a while since I fought a Senju. Physical attacks are useless against me, so you aren't really a threat, Kakuzu spoke in an amused tone. Chidori. Tuya called out as she appeared behind one of the web creature and cut her arm through its mass, causing it to shatter. What? Hidan exclaimed in surprise as he sent a look towards the Tuya they had been fighting. It dissolved into water. She pulled a switch with a water clone. One down, Tuya declared as the body convulsed before falling to the ground and dissolving. I didn't even sense you. Kakuzu's voice was filled with annoyance. Wait, red hair and the Rinnegan, Uzumaki Tuya I presume? Yet another Senju comes out of nowhere to fight me. You have quite the bounty on your head, you know. Tsunade Obaken, Tuya called, and Tsunade shot her dirty look, promising pain if she called her that again. Take everyone on ahead while Sai and I deal with these two, she shouted. Alright, catch up when you can, Tsunade said back and jumped away with the rest of the teams, knowing they didn't have much time to complete the rescue. Alright, let's get to it, Hidan said with a grin. Agreed, Kakuzu nodded. Jashin-sama. Behold. I give myself, body and soul, to the carnage that is to come. In your name, I will rip their insides out and shred their entrails, Hidan shouted to the heavens. Kakuzu made a hand seal and said, Hidan, stay back for now. No way, I want in on this action, Hidan told him. So let's just go with the usual, alright? Fine, Kakuzu answered finally. Hidan shot forward a moment later and appeared in front of Tuya before she could blink. A second later Sai came in from the side and parried the initial attack from the scythe with his Tanto. Sai backflipped onto a nearby tree and Hidan pursued a moment later, trying to gain the upper hand on the former root agent. Just the one of the web creatures appeared behind Hidan and let loose a massive blast of wind. Futon, Atsugai. Tuya covered her eyes to avoid the dust that was blown everywhere. He shot right through his own teammate. Why? When the dust died down, Hidan could be seen again without a scratch on him. What are they? Sai, fall back now. The redhead called and Sai quickly complied by appearing at her side. Running already? Hidan taunted. You wish. Shinra Tensei. Tuya retorted and threw out a massive blast of gravity, surprising the two Akatsuki agents. Hidan crashed through a nearby boulder and Kakuzu sailed through one of the trees while the web creature slammed hard into the ground itself. You bitch, Hidan gritted out as he stood once more while his partner and the creatures did the same a moment later. Jashin-sama will take your soul, he shouted as he shot forward. I'll keep him busy, Sai spoke up and moved to intercept. The former root agent knew that of everyone on Team Naruto he was by far the weakest, but even so he was still a Nanbu and wouldn't be beaten so easily. Choj Yugiga, he summoned several ink tigers to charge at the scythe-wielding maniac in front of him. Raiten, John. Kakuzu called out as he let loose two discharges of lightning chakra. Fujutsu Kyuin, Tuya whispered as she brought her hands up to absorb the attack once again. What is with this guy? They're both strong, especially the one with the masks, but normally someone can only use high-level jutsu of their own affinity, yet he's already used earth, wind, fire and lightning. You are the first to have survived our routine. No doubt thanks to your Rinnegan, Kakuzu commented after a moment of silence. The only sound that was heard was of the random clang from their partners fighting not too far away. You're a Konohanin, huh? You remind me of first Konohanin I ever fought. A true piece of work that one, the Shodai Hokage, he chuckled. What? Tuya's eyes widened in shock. Unknown, Limbo. Yugita looked around at the white void around her and felt tears begin to fall down her face. She looked at her hand only to see it was fading in and out seemingly without end. Yugi-chan. She heard the voice she hadn't heard since she was 6 and turned quickly towards it. There, standing in front of her were Kirabai and her parents waving towards her. Mom, Dad, she stammered out as she cried. She embraced them a moment later. Waterfall Country, outside Akatsuki hideout. Tsunade and the rest of the Konohanins dropped down into the clearing in front of the entrance. We're here, Tsunade said clearly as she looked over the seal on the large door in front of them. Inside, Yugito floated in the center of the chakra bubble as her bijou was sucked out and into the demonic statue a few feet away. They're outside, White Setsu reported. It no longer matters, Pain responded as the chakra died down and Yugito's body dropped to the cold floor below. It is done, we have the Nibi. Waterfall Country, Akatsuki hideout. This seal on the entrance, I remember Jiraiya showing me one once. Neji, use your Byakugan and locate any other seal tags in the area, Tsunade ordered. The veins around Neji's eyes intensified and he spoke. There are 4 scattered in all directions. Team Guy plus Kotetsu, you take care of them. Tsunade gave the order and the four disappeared into the trees. After a few moments the barrier dropped and the group entered. It was empty inside, save for a motionless Yugito on the floor. We're too late, Ino whispered in horror. Tsunade was already at the Raikage's side and running through diagnostic scans. Tears were running down her face as she confirmed what she knew was the truth. God no. There's no sign of Hokage-sama, Neji informed the group. He's probably been moved to another location. Sai should still have the tracking device on him so we can go after him, Shikamaru spoke up. Tsunade-sama, your orders? Neji asked her. Team Guy head back to assist Tuya and Sai. Shikamaru, I am about to do something very dangerous and the consequences might be extreme, but you are now in charge of Konoha until Tuya takes command, understood? Tsunade told him. Shikamaru nodded in affirmation. Yes Tsunade-sama, but what are you planning to? I plan on saving my apprentice, Tsunade said clearly as she formed several hand seals. What is that? Ino asked confused as the chakra covering Tsunade's hands turned blue. Kisho Tensei. Unknown, Limbo. You need to go back, Yugi-chan, her mother whispered softly. They need you, she said with a smile. We're proud of you and won't question your chosen path in life, her father continued with his own smile. They slowly started to drift away from her. Mom. Dad. Grandfather. Kirabai-sensei, Yugito shouted as she ran after their retreating forms. The light consumed her. Waterfall Country, Akatsuki hideout. Tsunade fell back and was caught by Ino and Hinata. No one was sure what happened, but they knew Tsunade accomplished whatever she was doing when Yugito's eyes snapped open and she gasped for breath and held back a scream of pain. Raikage-sama, you're alright? Shikamaru asked her. I'm fine, she rasped out. What happened? She asked as she struggled to sit up. The Nibi was extracted from you and you, well, died, Shikamaru said nervously. I died? Then how am I alive now? Yugito asked him only to see him turn towards Tsunade's motionless form. Oh no, Yugito whispered as her eyes widened in horror. Don't tell me she used the jutsu to bring me back. Tears fell down Yugito's face again as she put her hand against Tsunade's cold and smiling face. A moment of silence descended on the chamber to pay respects to the passing of the last of the Sannin. Waterfall Country, Undead Battlefield. Just how old are you? Are you immortal or something? Tuya asked in disbelief. Kakuzu merely chuckled, immortal? There's no such thing, I've just managed to prolong my life by stealing and stocking up on others' hearts before mine stops from old age. By removing it while that shinobi is still alive, I can store up to 5 hearts at any one time, yours will replace the one you destroyed. We'll see about that, Tuya yelled back. The creature with the fire mask suddenly opened and let loose a blast of fire towards her, Katen, Zukaku. This time Tuya jumped back to avoid the attack. Damn, this guy just won't let up. Above them Sai and Hidan clashed one more time before they fell back to their partners' sides. Are you alright, Dickman? Of course I am, were you worried, Blower? Sai asked her with a smile. I told you not to call me that, Tuya growled back, but he just smiled. Their teamwork is seamless, there's no openings, Sai stated as he kept his gaze on their opponents. We need to end this quickly, I'm not like Naruto or Pain, I don't have seemingly unlimited chakra and I'm reaching my limit, Tuya whispered back. I can take the one with the scythe, Sai whispered to her. We don't know his abilities, Tuya said simply. When we were fighting I stabbed him a few times and he didn't even feel it. I even stabbed him in the heart but he just shrugged it off as if it were nothing. It's almost like he's immortal, Sai continued. Cover me and I'll use my genjutsu to help you take him down, Tuya told him. What about the other one? Sai asked. Leave him to me for now, Tuya said clearly. Understood, Sai finished and shot forward again. Good luck, Tuya whispered and saw 2 of the masks open at Kakuzu's side. Banshu Tenon. She called out and pulled one of the webbed creatures towards her. No, Kakuzu shouted in surprise as Yugito's hand was engulfed in lightning chakra. Reikiri. Tuya called out as she slashed the webbed creature straight down the middle, causing it to dissolve. You'll pay for that. Futon, Atsugai. Katen, Zukaku, Kakuzu exclaimed as a massive wave of wind-enhanced fire shot towards her. Fujutsu Kyuin, Tuya brought her hands up and absorbed the wave, but her eyes widened when Kakuzu came running at her while she was busy absorbing it. Your heart is mine, Kakuzu shouted as he wrapped the strings in his arms around her and slammed her down on the ground. Die. He struck, tearing through her body to where her heart was located only for her to dissolve into water. A water clone? He blinked in surprise only to feel the world around him become a void of darkness. Kokwangyo no Jutsu, Tuya said from behind the trees to his left. What is this? Hidan asked in surprise. Your death, Sai declared and appeared behind him. Hidan turned upon hearing the sound, but it was already too late. His head was cut clean off and was sent rolling across the ground. Bastard! Hidan's head shouted as his body fell motionless to the ground. This genjutsu, only used by the Shodai and Nidaime Hokages. Both were senju, but that won't work on me. Kakuzu spoke and broke the illusion so he could see again. Kakuzu, help me out here, Hidan demanded. He's still alive? Tuya blinked in shock at seeing the talking head without a body. I'm a little busy right now, Kakuzu said to his partner and absorbed both of his remaining web creatures. Sai, Tuya shouted and brought her hands together into a familiar hand seal. Choj Yugiga, Sai summoned a pack of ink tigers which charged at the Akatsuki agent. This ends here. Futon, Atsugai, Katen, Zukaku. Kakuzu opened his masks which were now embedded in his shoulders and released a large blast of wind-enhanced fire at the pair. The ink tigers jumped in the way and held it back for a few seconds before dissolving into normal ink again. You lose, Chibaku Tensei. Tuya called out as she threw the gravity ball at the oncoming wave of fire. It snuffed out the flames instantly and slammed into Kakuzu's chest before drawing in everything within range including Hidan's head and body. Hidan screamed in anger and hatred as his body was ripped apart along with Kakuzu's, and the ground beneath them tore itself open after the gravity became too much and started ripping the earth around them apart also. After a few more seconds, Tuya let it go and dropped to one knee as the miniature moon she constructed collapsed into a pile of rubble. Are you alright? Sai asked worried as he looked over the redhead. Tuya puked blood onto the ground and coughed slightly. I think I overdid it there, she rasped out and fell forward only for Sai to catch her. Hey! Are you two alright? Tenten shouted as she and the rest of her team arrived in the area. Whoa, what the hell happened here? She asked upon seeing the destruction around them. You don't want to know, Tuya grunted out. Sai, Hokage-sama has been moved to another location. Can you track him? Neji asked the Anbu. Sai nodded after a moment and formed a hand seal. Grass country, border Akatsuki hideout. We must make this quick, Konan said as they took their positions. With only a few of us it will be slow work, White Zetsu commented. It doesn't matter, nothing can stop us now, Madara chuckled darkly as he stared at Naruto's still form. Let us begin, Pain grunted. Fuinjutsu, genre Fujin. We're running out of time, Kuro said through gritted teeth as the group of Alliance Nin dashed through the trees. I can see the entrance up ahead, Neji informed them. Is there a seal? Yugi-Ito asked him. Yes, it matches the same configuration as the others, Neji confirmed. Alright team, Asuma will remove the seal and then we can move in, Tuya said to everyone in the area. We must hurry, it has already been several days since Raikage-sama was extracted, Sai spoke solemnly. That idiot, he'd better not die, Yugi-Ito whispered, but everyone heard her. We're almost there, Tuya said as they jumped out into the clearing near the cave entrance. Naruto's mindscape, Jinchuriki seal. The massive gate holding back the Kyuubi was breaking down and the fox itself was roaring in anger and hatred. Naruto watched on as slabs of metal rained down from the ceiling of the chamber and clattered around him. I refuse to be that man's plaything again. I will not allow it. The Kyuubi roared as it threw itself against the seal. That won't help you, fox, Naruto whispered sadly as he saw the seal begin to crack and break apart. Do something then. The Kyuubi shouted in rage. What can I do? Naruto asked simply. No. The Kyuubi's voice echoed through the chamber as the gate completely shattered and the Kyuubi was sucked out of the chamber. Goodbye Kyuubi, Naruto whispered as a lone tear trailed down his face. The world around him was consumed in light. Grass country, border Akatsuki hideout. It is finished, Pain said in triumph as Naruto's body dropped to the floor motionless. What's our next step? Konan inquired. Everyone is to return to Ame immediately, then we will test the weapon, Pain spoke clearly. Madara looked over at him clearly amused, and when you sync with Geto Mazo I will take control of you and use you to release the Juubi for me. What about him? Konan asked as she nodded towards the dead Hokage. Leave him, he is of no consequence, Pain said before his hologram disappeared, soon followed by everyone else. A moment later the entrance was blown open and the Alliance Nins poured through. Naruto, Yugi-Ito shouted as she ran to him. But knew it was already too late. Author's notes, game over. Please load your last save point and try again. Retry. Well, Naruto is dead, Tsunade is dead and Akatsuki now has all of the bijou in their possession. Things aren't looking good for the Shinobi Alliance, huh? Unknown, Limbo. I must be in limbo right now. I got to say I was expecting something more, Naruto mused as he looked around the white void. The Ju-Ubi was a true monster in every sense of the word, just one tail could destroy a continent, so I sealed it away in the moon and split its chakra using Senjutsu, which gave me godlike chakra. What? Naruto turned quickly and spotted a man wearing samurai-like armor. Who are you? He asked. That's where I picked up the name Rikudo Sennin, and my necklace was something I created to help me control the Ju-Ubi's power once it was sealed in me. You're the Rikudo Sennin? Naruto asked in surprise. The prophecy draws near and you must do like I did so long ago. You can't hear me, you must be a recording or something, Naruto whispered as he listened. Repeat after me. I am the one who will establish peace and order. I am the one who will establish peace and order. You're the one who was talking to me every time I recovered a chakra crystal, Naruto deduced. Like me, there will come a time when you are no longer needed, but until then you are to maintain the moon and the bijou sealed within it. How the hell can I do that? I'm dead, Naruto thought bitterly. Only a true sage can interface completely and control the Geto Mazo. What the hell is Geto Mazo? Naruto asked aloud. Even then, all 6 crystals of the 6 Paths necklace are needed to fully master Shikifujin in its complete form. What is Shikifujin, but does that have to wait complete form? I thought it just held back the Kyuubi, Naruto thought in surprise. After a moment of silence, the Rikudo Sennin disappeared. All was silent until... You really know how to make an entrance, don't you, Naruto? He turned swiftly to the smiling face of Namikaze Minato. Hey Naruto, long time no see, Minato waved. Dad? Naruto's eyes widened as he looked over his father's face. You're kind of late. I suppose that's actually a good thing since it would mean you're strong, Minato said with a smile. Dad, what are you? Naruto began. You're dead and the Kyuubi has been extracted. Since the Shikifujin on you has been forcefully opened, the Shinigami has to allow me to come and see you while you're still in limbo. How have you been? Minato asked. How have I been? How have I been? I'm dead, for crying out loud, Naruto shouted, and Minato held his ground. Yes you are, so? Minato asked with a smile. What's with that look? Naruto asked in suspicion. You're just like your mother when you're angry, Minato commented amused. You planned this, didn't you? Naruto asked, catching on. Minato just smiled and said, there was a good chance that the man who sent Kyuubi to attack Konoha 16 years ago would try and extract it from you. Naruto huffed at that. So what? Madara is an asshole, but in case you haven't noticed, Dad, I'm still dead. I planned for that too, Minato said with a nod. Naruto cocked his head to the side, confused. How? I only sealed half of Kyuubi's chakra in you, but I sealed the other half in Shikifujin, an entirely different location, Minato explained. Where? You can only seal it inside a living container, and I was the only one there when you sealed it, Naruto asked him. Minato smiled sadly. Actually, there was one other container there, it just happened to be a grown man instead of a newborn child. Naruto quickly caught on. You? Minato nodded at that. Yes, me. Kyuubi's yin chakra was sealed within my own body in a seal identical to yours. Why? Why would you do that? Naruto asked him. Why would you split Kyuubi's chakra in half? Minato sighed and explained, because you needed a replacement after they removed the Kyuubi from you. A toad by the name of Gerator has the key which can open both seals completely and allow the core sealed in my body to be transferred to yours. I didn't make the key for your seal, I made it for mine. Dad, I don't know what to say, Naruto spoke after a moment. Minato just smiled and said, then don't say anything. I may not be able to return you to the land of the living, but I know you will return in a few moments anyways. How do you know that? Naruto asked, confused. Minato smiled when he sees Naruto's eyes start to glow. Because you have people who still need you, now more than ever. Thank you for everything, Dad. About the Kyuubi, I understand why you did it. I don't agree with you, but I understand. Naruto smiled back as his body was consumed by light and he disappeared a moment later. Just then the Rikudo Sennin reappeared at Minato's side and asked, do you think he will be alright? Yes, I do. I believe in him to bring peace to the world where everyone else has failed, Minato said with a smile. The Kyuubi has been extracted. You are no longer bound to the Shinigami, the Rikudo Sennin said clearly. What do you mean? Minato asked him. You can finally reunite with your wife, the Rikudo Sennin replied before he turned and vanished again. Minato smiled again and started walking towards the light. Grass country, Border Akatsuki hideout. Come on idiot, wake up, Yugi-Ito said, trying to remain calm as she cradled the Hokage's head. Naruto, come on, open your eyes, she pleaded. This can't be happening, Tuya muttered and clenched her fists. Don't leave me, I love you, Yugi-Ito shouted at him, tears now freely falling down her face. Almost in response, the 6 crystals attached to his necklace started to glow and a low humming could be heard echoing throughout the chamber. Suddenly a weak shockwave washed over them all before the crystals floated into the air above his head. What is that? Yugi-Ito asked as she wiped the tears from her eyes. I don't know, Tuya shook her head, not knowing what to say. They are the chakra crystals Hokage-sama has been collecting over the years, Sai answered, surprising the group. Danzo-sama had extensive notes pertaining to the crystals, but he was unable to ascertain their purpose. In order to save his life I will give you resurrection, but because of the Shiki Fujin he may never be able to fight ever again. Did you guys hear that? Tuya asked, freaking out at the voice. Hear what? Sai inquired. You may be able to give him back his life, but his eyes and body will be severely weakened, just like mine was when I sealed away the Jubi and the moon. Is it worth it? That, Tuya replied in surprise. We don't hear anything, Tuya, Yugi-Ito told her. Suddenly the crystals started to glow again and shot towards Tuya, surprising everyone. The crystals then started to spin around her before integrating into her, and her Rinnegan suddenly activated. 2 embedded themselves in the back of her hands, another 2 in her shoulders, and the last 2 in her knees. Tuya, are you alright? Yugi-Ito asked the redhead. I will bring peace and order. The voice that answered was not Tuya. The redhead suddenly formed a hand seal and chakra exploded from her form. Geto, Rin-Tensei no Jutsu. A large statue exploded from the ground behind them, surprising the group alliance nins, and they backed away in fear. What is that? Kiba exclaimed in fear. Girl, the voice spoke through Tuya again. Ankara, his heart and his soul will return, it said to Yugi-Ito. Yugi-Ito looked at Tuya's glowing Rinnegan before nodding. Be warned. Resurrection is taxing on the mind and body, as I have told my descendant he might never fight again. I understand. Yugi-Ito gave a tearful nod before turning her gaze back on the still form of Naruto. It is done. Tuya collapsed to one knee as Naruto's body started to glow blue and yellow. The statue disappeared a moment later and the crystals returned to their place on Naruto's necklace. What the fuck was that? Tuya groaned as pain flashed through her body. Suddenly Naruto's eyes snapped open and he gasped as air invaded his lungs once more. He coughed a few times and Yugi-Ito pulled him into a hug, surprising him as he was trying to figure out where he was. Why, Yugi-Ito? Naruto blinked before he winced as pain shot through his stomach and arms. I thought I lost you, Yugi-Ito said as she cried in relief. What happened? He looked up and saw Sai holding a barely conscious Tuya. I don't know, Yugi-Ito answered truthfully as her hands glowed green and she started to heal the damage he had taken. I heard a voice and then, I felt like someone was possessing me, Tuya answered. I think, that was the Rikudo Sennin, Naruto responded. We should leave while we can, Akatsuki could show up at any time, Sai spoke up. I don't think Akatsuki cares about us anymore, Tuya said, shaking her head. Don't ever leave me again, Yugi-Ito said to the Hokage with a tearful smile. Yugi-Ito? Naruto asked as he stared at her. What? She asked back. Marry me. Rain Country, Ame Akatsuki headquarters. The time has finally come, we have reached our objective and now have all of the bijou at our disposal. It is time we move into the final phase of the plan, Nagato spoke to the room from his chair. He turned and spoke in monotone, is that alright with you, Madara? Cheeky Senju, fine, I'll play your game a little longer just to see if it works properly before I release the Juubi, Madara thought as he turned towards the leader of Akatsuki. Do what you want, Pain. The mocking in the man's tone was ignored. Nagato made a hand seal and called out, Kushios, Geto Mazo. Suddenly a large demonic statue with 9 eyes erupted from the ground in the center of the chamber, now can begin. Be careful, Nagato, Konan said to him as cable-like spikes erupted from the hands from the statue and struck all 6 paths of pain along with Nagato himself. It is done, I am now completely synchronized with Geto Mazo, Nagato spoke from his chair. Who shall be the first target? Madara inquired with a smirk behind his mask. Just a little more, and then I will force him to use Rin-Tensei on me, he thought as his Sharingan began to spin. Konoha, Nagato answered as the statue began to glow. The roof opened up and the statue turned its head upwards to the sky. Chakra started pooling out of the 9 eyes and concentrated at the mouth of the statue where it compressed into a large ball of energy. Peace has arrived, Nagato spoke as the ball glowed and launched itself into the sky. Several seconds passed. And the ball dissolved into nothingness. It didn't work. Madara gritted his teeth in anger. Why didn't it work? He growled out. Nagato closed his eyes and concentrated. It's the QB, the yin half of its chakra is missing. The QB, Senju Naruto, that annoying little brat, he must have planned this. Madara's voice was laced with anger. What do we do? Konan asked the two. I will capture Namikaze Naruto and we take the rest of the QB's chakra, Nagato stated clearly. So close, Madara thought angrily. Fire country, Konoha Hospital. So what's the prognosis, doc? Will I live? Naruto asked jokingly. You're lucky to be alive, Hokage-sama, Shizune answered as she finished healing his wounds. What's your point? Naruto blinked. Shizune sighed and went back to work on the wounds on his back. Without the QB your healing factor has lessened significantly. With Raikage-sama having returned to Kumo to organize their forces and Tsunade-sama, no longer with us, I can only do the best I can. Don't worry about it, Shizune-chan, you're one of the best around and a student of Senju Tsunade. Not many can boast about that, just patch me up enough to walk on my own and I'll be fine, Naruto told her. Hokage-sama, with all due respect, you're as far from fine as you can get. Your chakra coils are all but destroyed, your internal organs are barely holding themselves together and your immune system is almost non-existent. Raikage-sama wasn't as bonded to the Nibi as you were to the QB, so unlike her you actually need rest, Shizune stated clearly. Thanks for caring, Shizune-chan, but I know my body better than anyone, so please finish, Naruto said with a smile. Shizune's hands stopped glowing a moment later. It's done, but I recommend that you don't do anything stressful for at least few days. Naruto put on his new coat and smiled again. I'll try not to, but no promises, Shizune sighed, knowing that was the best she was going to get. Just be careful. Aren't I always? Naruto waved as he left. Shizune snorted as the door closed. Now to get some ramen, Naruto whispered as he took off towards the Chirakus. I thought I'd find you here, Nissan, Konohamaru called as he entered the ramen stand. Hey Konohamaru, where have you been hiding? Naruto greeted back. You've grown, he said. Kinda been on missions with my team, Konohamaru had the decency to blush. You're a Jonin now? Naruto asked, seeing the hit eye on the young Sarutobi's head. Yeah, Konohamaru nodded and showed him the hit eye. Who's your sensei? Naruto inquired. Ebisu sensei, Konohamaru answered sheepishly. That pervert? Naruto asked in surprise. Konohamaru nodded. He's not so bad. He's been teaching us stuff. If you say so, Naruto shrugged and went back to his ramen. After a few moments of silence, Konohamaru spoke up again. Ni-chan, I heard that you beat the last Uchiha at the summit. The news is all over the village and they even say you conquered death in order to come back to us. Naruto chuckled slightly but didn't take his eyes off of the ramen in front of him. Actually, it was Tuya that saved my life, and yes, I did kill Sasuke. Aren't you happy you don't have to deal with something like that anymore? Konohamaru asked, confused. Despite how far Sasuke had fallen, I still considered him a friend. I may have gotten angry at him all the time for his actions, but he was still a friend, and I can't hate him for that, Naruto replied. I'm not sure I understand what you mean, Konohamaru said after a moment. I pray that you never do, Naruto said with a smile. He stood up a moment later. Thanks for the ramen, old man. Anytime, Hokage-sama, Pucci said as he took the now empty ramen bowl on the table. Nissan, I don't know what's bothering you, but the village needs you now more than ever as its Rakudime Hokage, Konohamaru said clearly as he saw Naruto stop just outside of the stand. I know, Konohamaru, you shouldn't worry so much. I won't let anything happen to Konoha, that's a promise, Naruto swore and started away from the stand. It was going to be a long day. Fire Country, Hokage's monument, fourth Hokage's head. Naruto walked through the dark and narrow halls of the monument. He knew his destination. It was the real Hokage tomb where the previous Hokages had been put to rest. The ones in the graveyard were just gravestones, but their real graves were inside the heads of the monument itself. He continued to walk until he came across the small closed door that was covered by a genjutsu which connected to the tomb of the Yondaime Hokage. Naruto took a deep breath before wiping blood across the genjutsu, causing it not only to dispel but also deactivate the various blood seals covering the door. He opened the door a moment later, took another deep breath and entered into the chamber beyond. It was dark for a moment before light flickered on and he could fully see the room. It was mostly empty with a few scrolls littering it, but what really caught his attention was the large stone grave in the center. Naruto approached the stone and pushed the cover off to reveal the motionless form of his deceased father. He hadn't even started to decompose and Naruto's Rinnegan told him that the body was still containing a functioning chakra core which he saw was located in a very familiar seal on the man's stomach. Naruto took a step back and just stared for a second, a minute, an hour, an eternity. He bit his thumb and formed several hand seals before slamming his hand down on the floor a moment later. Kushios no Jutsu, Naruto whispered as the key toad, Giratora appeared in a poof of smoke. Huh? Where am I? Who summons me? Giratora demanded. The Kyuubi Jinchuriki, well former actually, Naruto responded. Ah, I know you, Jiraiya wanted me to go to you if you were to die against pain. I heard the Kyuubi was extracted from you, so what do you want with me? Giratora questioned in annoyance. I want you to give me the key, Naruto replied simply. Why? Without the Kyuubi the key is useless, Giratora asked confused. Not as useless as you would think, Naruto countered. Fine, Giratora sighed and unraveled the large scroll in front of the blonde. Place your hand on the scroll to transfer the key to you, he said simply. Naruto did as asked and the scroll glowed slightly. It is done. Giratora put the scroll away a moment later. What are you going to do with it? Gain the Kyuubi's yin chakra, Naruto answered simply. Yin chakra? I thought that was inside the seal, Giratora commented. Only the Kyuubi's yang chakra was sealed in me and my seal along with its will. The rest of it is sealed here, Naruto answered as he approached the body of his father. Naruto opened his jacket to reveal the seal on his stomach before doing the same to his father and his hand started glowing blue. He pressed into both of the seals, one after the other, and they started glowing blue and red. The two seals connected a second later and Naruto bit back the scream that threatened to explode from his mouth. Red chakra cascaded throughout the room for several long and agonizing seconds before it suddenly stopped. Naruto fell to one knee after that and coughed blood onto the stone floor. He then placed his hand on his seal once more and closed it, locking the new core within it. He stood a moment later and brought his now clenched fist up to his face. Are you okay? Giratora asked worriedly. Yeah, I feel great, Naruto answered, and truthfully he did. His healing factor had returned to normal and he could feel his injuries repairing themselves. Wait, what? Red chakra exploded from his body, surprising them both before Naruto's Rinnegan activated and the crystals on his necklace started glowing. Even then, all 6 crystals of the 6 Paths necklace are needed to fully master Shikifujin in its complete form. Is this what he was talking about? Naruto thought as he felt the sinister chakra engulf him and condense. Oh crap, he thought as the chakra took the shape of a fox with 4 tails. This feels different than last time. Why? Naruto thought as he flexed his chakra claws. Only the Kyuubi's yang chakra was sealed in me and my seal along with its will. Dad, I don't know whether to hit you or thank you. You deliberately sealed Kyuubi's will with its yang chakra inside my seal so Madara could extract it while keeping the yin chakra alone in yours so I could use it without Kyuubi's influence. That's insane, Naruto thought with a smile as he looked down at his father. Naruto? Giratora asked nervously. In fact, I've never been better. I don't have to constantly fight the Kyuubi's for control of its chakra anymore, Naruto answered before releasing the chakra and returning to normal. What are you going to do now? Giratora asked a moment later as he watched Naruto reseal his father's grave. That's simple, I'm going to call a war council and we're going to discuss what I'm going to do about Akatsuki, Naruto replied with a smirk. Like me, there will come a time when you are no longer needed, but until then you are to maintain the moon and the bija sealed within it. I won't fail, Naruto thought, determined as he exited the chamber with Giratora and resealed it. Fire Country, Hokage's Monument Council Chamber. Any idea why Hokage-sama called this meeting? Inoiki asked as he sat down. Not a clue, but I'm willing to bet it has something to do with Akatsuki, Shikaku shrugged. It looks like everyone is surprised that he's called a meeting so soon after the last battle with Akatsuki, Inoiki commented. There he is, Choza spoke up as he saw the Rakudime Hokage enter the room. Hokage-sama, why have you called us here? Tsume asked, looking intrigued. I'm here to inform you of my decision, Naruto replied unaffected. Decision? Shibi asked in monotone. 1 week from now I will be going alone to Omega no Sato and I will be confronting Pain personally, Naruto declared, and the council suddenly burst into protest. I know what you are thinking, but I am the Hokage and the Hokage's duty demands that I face this threat against Konoha, and that's exactly what I intend to do, he continued, and the room fell silent. Hokage-sama, you can't be serious, Inoiki spoke up in disbelief. You have already been captured once, and with the Kyuubi extracted from you, you are in no shape to wage a one-man war. You would be correct, If I didn't have the QB still sealed inside me, Naruto responded, surprising the room. You mean you still have the QB? Shikaku asked with narrowed eyes. How is that possible? My dad was a genius, that's all I'm saying on the matter, Naruto replied. Hokage-sama, you can't go alone. Inoiki spoke simply. I'm not going alone, I'm taking several combat dodes including Game Ubuntu with me, Naruto responded. That's not what I mean, Inoiki continued frantically. Inoiki, let him go, Shikaku said to his friend. Shikaku? Inoiki asked confused. He's made his choice just like his father had, we have no right to interfere, Shikaku replied. Naruto nodded at his words. Akatsuki has already shown that they don't care about any of the major villages. I'm going to show them why they shouldn't mess with people's lives like they've been doing. I can't believe you're going to do this, Tsuyu said again as Naruto and several of his clones looked over the scrolls littering the room. What you believe and what's happening are two very different things, Naruto responded as he picked up the forbidden scroll of sealing. No, I can kind of understand leaving me in charge while you're gone, but what I don't get is the fact that you are going after Akatsuki. Am I the only one just a little freaked out by that? The redhead asked him. I agree, Hokage-sama, to challenge Akatsuki like this, the outcome is almost certain death, Sai continued. Well, I've died once already, Naruto shrugged, clearly not caring, and attached the forbidden scroll to his back. You two keep things together until I get back, he waved before disappearing a poof of smoke. Gyakukushios no jutsu, Tsuyu sighed worriedly. He will be fine, Sai reassured her. The redhead nodded with a small smile. I can only imagine what the Kumo bitch's reaction is going to be like when she hears of what he's doing. Summon Realm, Myobakuzen. Welcome back, Fukasaku said with a smile as Naruto found himself in the living room. Naruto looked down at the noodles on the table in front of him and sweat dropped. I am not eating that. You'll eat it and you'll like it, Shima called from the kitchen. Yes ma'am, Naruto sighed in defeat. I see you have the scroll, Fukasaku commented upon seeing the large scroll on his back. It took a while to find, but yeah, I got it, Naruto nodded as he dropped the scroll down to his side. After lunch we'll get started. We also need to work on your sage mode, without QB influencing you, I maybe be able to completely bond with you, Fukasaku said with a grin. Naruto just nodded and started eating his noodles. Summon Realm, Myobakuzen, are you sure about this course of action, Naruto boy? Fukasaku asked the blonde Hokage. I'm fully prepared to fight, Naruto answered as he put on his coat. The Toad Elder sighed and nodded, I understand. Ma is already in the area and should be ready for what we have planned. I never thanked you, Naruto said, surprising Fukasaku. For what? The Toad Elder inquired. For staying with Uro-Sennin up until the end, Naruto replied with a smile. Naruto, tell me the truth, you are planning on living through this, aren't you? Fukasaku asked seriously. As the Rakudaime Hokage of Konoha, I will do what I must to protect those closest to me, Naruto declared. Fukasaku sighed and chuckled, that you got from your father. Suddenly they both felt a pulling sensation and knew what it meant. It seems Ma is in position. Prepare yourself. No sooner had the words left his mouth than the two disappeared in puffs of smoke. Rain Country, Ame Akatsuki headquarters, are you sure? Pain questioned, now having his full attention on Zetsu. Positive, he is on his way here as we speak, White Zetsu reported. I'm surprised he was able to survive the extraction, Konan took a breath. But to be ready to fight again after going through that only a week ago? Something is not right here, and that boy is at the center of it. I agree, Pain nodded and turned towards his benefactor. This is an unexpected move on his part, he knows that we will want to recapture him, he added. That boy, if the fool wants to die then so be it, capture him at any cost, Madara said as he tried to contain his anger. Senju Naruto had defied him on a number of occasions, with the next always worse than the last. First the brat had killed Itachi so he was unable to completely control Sasuke, and then he killed Danzo, making it virtually impossible for Madara to control Sasuke at all. Even after being captured and extracted, he was proving to be a pain. Madara knew that there was a chance that Naruto's little bitch of a sister might be able to revive him, but Madara had planned on it so he could see the look on the boy's face when he finally became the Juubi Jinchuriki. Instead, not only did Naruto retain some if not all of Kyuubi's power, but he was launching a direct attack on the Akatsuki headquarters. The audacity of it. The boy was insulting him by merely living, but to charge at him without a care, as if the boy could actually beat a god like himself. Not only that, but there was a very real possibility that the Naruto might be able to defeat Pain even with Konan aiding him. He was also a wielder of the Rinnegan, and Naruto could match Pain blow for blow when it came to that he could win. If there was one thing he had learned about the boy, it was that it was a mistake to underestimate him. If Naruto were to defeat Pain and Konan, then Madara would have to go into hiding again, maybe for 1,000 years. That was unacceptable. He needed to deal with Naruto himself should it come that. But that was a problem in itself. There was one crucial detail which no one seemed to realize except for Orochimaru when they had met. Uchiha Madara was already dead. He died in combat against the Shodai Hokage back at the Valley of the End, but his spirit wasn't claimed by the Shinigami. He had spent the next few decades trying to solidify his ghost-like form and eventually succeeded, but he knew without an actual body it would be impossible for him to fight at full strength ever again. Orochimaru was the only one to realize that, or at least that was what Madara thought when he heard the Snake Sanin researching the Nidaime Hokage's jutsu to temporarily bring back the dead and control them. Madara knew that if someone were able to use the jutsu to reconstruct his body, then the user would be able to control him instead of the other way around. His fears had been realized when Orochimaru used the jutsu to temporarily resurrect the Shodai and Nidaime Hokages to do battle with the Sandaime Hokage 4 years ago. Thankfully, Orochimaru was killed before he could complete the jutsu and reconstruct Madara's form. It was times like these that Madara really hated the most, when his plans were set back for a time. As long as he was still wounded from his battle with the Shodai Hokage, then he knew he would be no match for Naruto or Pain in a fight. He would be able to avoid almost any blow, but he wouldn't be able to really do any damage either, and if Naruto were to unleash the Kyuubi, he doubted even his invulnerability would be enough to withstand its attacks. Madara turned towards the large demonic statue in the center of the room and his Sharingan spun wildly. A plan started to formulate inside Madara's mind, and he quickly deduced the outcome of each and every scenario as they came until only the most benefiting outcome remained. It was not something he wanted but knew it was necessary in order to accomplish his goal. Suddenly Pain snapped his head to the side, catching everyone's attention, and Madara knew that the time had come. "What is it, Nagato?" Konan asked the Rinnegan user. "He's here," was Pain's answer. "Dajukushios no Jutsu." 3 voices called out as one. 3 explosions of smoke caught the attention of everyone in range, and soon 3 large battle toads appeared to cause the destruction that was sure to follow. Rain pelted the ground as the toads struck and started leveling the village building by building, slaughtering any Amenins that came at them. The boss toad Gamabunda swung his large blade and cut through the supports of one of the towering buildings and watched with pride as it fell, killing almost everyone inside it. While this was happening, a single figure rushed through the shadows, making sure to use the distraction his summons were creating as a means to get to his true enemies. Movement on the right caught his attention and he stopped, flinging a 3-pronged kunai as he slowed. "Namikaze Naruto," spoke a tall blue-haired woman who appeared to be made out of paper. "You must be Konan. Fukasaku-sensei mentioned you. How did a student of Uro-Sennin end up like you?" Naruto asked with a smirk. "Jiraiya-sensei was a great man, a fool but a great man nevertheless," Konan admitted. "Yeah, well, I guess that makes me a fool too," Naruto shrugged. "Pain is on his quietly and we will finally be able to bring peace to this world," Konan said clearly. "You'll have to catch me first," Naruto shot back and closed his eyes. He smirked and opened them in order to reveal his hybrid mode fully activate. "Thanks for the warning about Pain. It was a great help, Hiraishin no Jutsu." He disappeared in a flash of yellow light a second later. "What?" Konan thought in alarm. Naruto reappeared in a yellow flash of light near the center of the village in front of the Toad Elders. "Great timing," Naruto said with a smirk as Shima picked up the 3-pronged kunai they had thrown on the ground. "We're near the center, are you sure about this, Naruto? You know a lot of innocents will die today if you do this," Fukasaku stated. "Hopefully it won't come to that," Naruto responded as he formed a hand seal. "Climb on and let's do this," he finished. Fukasaku sighed and nodded. "Very well, Naruto boy. Let's show these hoodlums what we think of them killing Jiraiya boy," Shima spoke and formed a hand seal along with her husband. "Senpo, Ryusei no Jutsu," the two-toed called out as they integrated into Naruto's shoulders in matter of seconds. "We'll gather sage chakra for you, so don't worry about your clones," Fukasaku told the young Hokage. "I would still prefer if I had one clone on standby just in case," Naruto nodded, and after creating a clone he jumped up the side of a building. He ran straight up, jumping from building to building until a large centipede erupted from the wall he was running up. "Kushios no Jutsu," Animal Path exclaimed as she appeared riding the centipede. "Looks like Pain got himself a new summoning body to replace the one Jiraiya boy destroyed," Fukasaku commented. It doesn't matter, Naruto responded as he dodged the falling debris and threw a three-pronged kunai at animal. The path evaded it easily but was unprepared for Naruto, disappearing in a flash of light. Hiraishin no Jutsu. The blonde Hokage called out as he appeared above her in an instant. Rinnegan, he exclaimed as he slammed a pair of spinning chakra spheres into her gut, blowing her downwards along with the centipede. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto whispered as a clone appeared at his side and threw him upwards onto the side of the building. You've gotten better at aerial combat, I see, Fukasaku commented. Three more coming from below, Shima shouted as she saw Deva, Naraka and Asura dashing up the building towards them. I see them, Naruto nodded and started running up the side of the building. Asura threw off his Akatsuki cloak and ripped open his right arm to reveal dozens of missiles. They fired, swerving in order to follow their target, and closed in on Naruto above. Naruto narrowly evaded the barrage as explosions riddled the side of the building, and when the dust cleared, the three paths were running alongside him. Damn, doesn't this guy ever quit? Naruto asked in frustration. Shinra Tensei, Deva whispered and sent a blast of gravity at the blonde. Shinra Tensei, Naruto countered with his own jutsu, and an echoing bang echoed through the air between them. So I was right, he muttered knowingly. Our gravity jutsu cancelled each other out, Pain mused as they approached the roof of the tower. What is he up to? Asked the god of rain silently. Naruto quickly reached the edge of the roof, and with all his strength he jumped high into the air above the industrial shinobi village. Deva's eyes widened in comprehension. He's planning to. Shinra Tensei. Banshu Tenon. The world around them distorted as the world seemed to be blown away and pulled in at the same time. All those watching on saw a sphere of mutilated space ripping everything inside apart in a matter of seconds. Naruto and Deva hovered above the village for a few long seconds before they both dropped down to the street below, where several towers now lay in ruins. That was too close, Konan muttered as she appeared at his side in a spiral of papers. Suddenly the other 5 paths appeared at their side. Are you all right, Nagato? No, Deva answered simply. He narrowed his eyes at the blonde Hokage standing a few feet in front of him. You had this plan, didn't you, Namikaze Naruto? You mean force you to use a full-powered Banshu Tenon to counter me? Yeah, I did, and now you can't use your gravity jutsus for another 5 minutes. More than enough time to deal with you, Naruto declared with a fox-like grin. Stay back, Konan, Deva spoke as Naruto shot forward. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, Naruto whispered, and 2 clones appeared at his side. Suinkushios no Jutsu, Animal spoke as she slapped her hand down on the stone ground. 2 large animals, a rhino and a ram, appeared in twin puffs of smoke and charged to approaching Sage. The 2 clones brought their hands up to Naruto and started charging 2 spheres of spinning chakra. After the jutsus had formed, the 2 clones stayed at his side, keeping them stable, but as soon as they were in range, the 2 clones jumped to the side. Chodama Rasengan, Naruto exclaimed as he slammed the 2, now huge chakra spheres, into the summoned creatures at the same time. The churka balls exploded, destroying the 2 summon animals and blowing away a few square blocks of the village. Konan reformed herself and looked on with surprise at the devastation the young sage had brought. All 6 paths of pain stood atop the nearby collection of rubble that was once the trading center of the village. He looked to be unconcerned, but she knew him long enough to see that he was in fact troubled by this development. Kushios no Jutsu. Animal called out and sent her bird-like summon at him. Naruto saw it coming and took the attack straight on before disappearing in a poof of smoke, signifying he was a clone. Rasengan, Naruto exclaimed as he appeared behind her and slammed a spinning sphere of chakra into her back. She fell lifeless a moment later, and he caught her body before placing her on the ground as the others turned towards him. You know, if there is one thing I can't stand, it's others, desecrating people's bodies, he spoke clearly as he looked down at the girl's face. You cannot understand my actions, Deva responded simply. Where's the real you? Naruto asked, surprising the 2 Akatsuki members. You clearly aren't among these 6, so where are you? He asked again. You really are something else, Namikaze Naruto, Deva said with a small, almost mocking chuckle. You didn't answer my question, Naruto commented. Not that it matters. As soon as I'm done with these abominations you've created, I'm going to be coming after the real you, and we'll settle this then. As the Uzumaki no Rinnegan. The declaration made Konan tense. Nagato. Konan, come to me, this is a battle between gods, not men and women, Deva said clearly. Konan nodded and disappeared in a swirl of paper. I'm on my way, Shikigami no Mai. Naruto boy, are you ready? Fukasaku asked from the Hokage's shoulder. Ready, Naruto nodded in confirmation and formed a hand seal. Then let's do this, Shima finished. Senpo, Goemon. The three called out together as the oil, wind and fire amplified each other into a wave of pure destruction. Fujutsu Kyuin, Preta whispered as he quickly absorbed the stream of liquid fire sent at them. Watch it Naruto boy, that pain can absorb jutsu like you, Shima informed him. I thought so, Naruto grinned in response as the two clones he had made earlier appeared behind the 5 remaining paths. Bunshine Daibakua. The 2 clones exploded right on top of the 5 paths. Fujutsu Kyuin, Preta countered and the explosions were absorbed within moments. Suddenly the real Naruto appeared in front of him and slugged him across the face, shattering it instantly. Kawazukumite, he exclaimed as the Preta path fell to the ground, dead. Doton, Doryuki, David charged forward as he created a ball behind the blonde, effectively trapping him. Damn it, he trapped me, Naruto thought before he felt David shove a chakra blade of some kind through his shoulder, pinning him to the wall behind him and forcing the Toad Elders to break off from the blonde. Naruto boy. Shima called in worry as she and her husband landed a few feet away. You know what pain, Naruto grunted out as he looked up into his opponent's eyes. I thought that when I finally fought you I would feel anger and hatred. But I don't feel like that at all, I feel complete for the first time in my life. The two simply stared in each other's Rinnegan. Right here and right now, I will stop you, and I will stop Madara from plunging this world into a never-ending nightmare, he vowed. My way is the only way to achieve true peace. Madara is a fool for thinking I would play along with his games. I am going to use the Bijou and I will create a weapon which will instill fear and pain to future generations so they will be afraid to fight and kill one another, Pain stated clearly. Your peace is the same as Madara's, it's nothing but an illusion, Naruto grunted out and smirked at him. Then what would you do instead? Pain inquired in monotone. I'd endure, I'd survive and I'd bring everyone together and make them understand each other. It's already started at the Cage Summit, Naruto answered with a pain chuckle. Just because they can understand each other doesn't mean they can come in agreement, Pain countered. Maybe that's true, and, so what? Naruto asked. The world can't be saved so easily, fighting is a part of human nature. We've been fighting for as long as we can remember and will continue to fight until we're all dead. If that is the peace you seek, then fight for it, if you can, Pain practically dared him. I already have. Sage chakra spread through the chakra blade and pulsed into the air and then into the direction of the largest tower in the village. I found you, he said tauntingly. He tracked me with that blasted sage mode of his, Pain realized before red chakra exploded from Naruto's body forcing him to back away. When the light died down, Naruto could be seen on all fours covered in a dense sinister crimson chakra in the shape of a fox with 6 tails. A skeleton of some kind outlined his form and he roared the god of rain. Rain country, Ame battlefield Naruto boy? Fukasaku asked hesitantly. I'm fine, Naruto reassured him to the surprise of Pain. He's mastered the Kyuubi's chakra? Pain thought with narrowed eyes and a little worry. The Kyuubified Naruto shot forward in an instant and took down Asura with one strike before he could react. The punch released a shockwave large enough to destroy a good chunk of the outer village, though thankfully everyone had already evacuated. This is going to be more difficult than the Hichibi Jinchuriki, Pain mused and Naruto was upon him again. Shinra Tensei, he exclaimed, his powers having finally returned. Naruto planted 4 of his tails into the ground and roared, blowing the Deva path back and forcing Human to catch him. He deflected Shinra Tensei with chakra alone. Blue and red orbs suddenly started to gather at Naruto's mouth and compressed into a fist-sized sphere of black energy. Rakubiko Imarti started. Banshu Tenon. Deva interrupted quickly as a building was literally dropped on Naruto. The impact sent Naruto's jutsu astray and it exploded in a blinding light. Just outside the village, teams from Konoha, Kumo, Suna, Iwa and Kiri were just arriving when they saw the horizon light up the sky like a second sun. What the hell is that? Kankuro asked as the light died down. That must be Naruto, Tuya answered as smoke trailed off into the sky from the source of the blast. That reckless idiot, Yugi said through gritted teeth, clearly worried. Deva stood up with his Akatsuki cloak now ruined and Human laying motionless on the ground at his side. The Kyuubified Naruto stood a few meters away and smirked like a demon. The Kyuubi's power, it's magnificent, Pain commented in thought. He formed a hand seal and whispered, Chibaku Tensei. A ball of gravity formed in his hand and he hurled it into the air above them. Crap, Naruto grunted out as he was pulled upwards along with several buildings and a good chunk of the earth itself. The miniature moon formed within moments and Naruto found himself buried inside it. I have no choice, he thought before he closed his eyes and the moon enlarged. Pain narrowed his eyes when he saw a chunk of the moon get blown off. What? Suddenly a large fox with 9 tails burst from the moon's surface and roared at him. To think he was this powerful. He brought up his hands and readied himself. He dug himself out of Chibaku Tensei with pure chakra. I should enlarge while I can. I doubt he will be as easy to contain as the Hichibi. Suddenly a black ball of chakra formed at the fox's mouth and Pain's eyes widened slightly. Oh no! Kyuubi Amari, Naruto roared as he unleashed an enormous blast of chakra, carving out a good portion of Omega no Sato and wiping out everything it touched. Such outrageous strength, I can't hold it. Naruto broke free of Chibaku Tensei, but the artificial construct remained as the massive fox touched back down on the earth just outside of the village. Pain jumped up high and hurled the miniature moon at Naruto. Banshu Tenon. Chibaku Tensei slammed into the fox's side with a mighty explosion, causing Naruto to stagger and allow Pain to close the distance between them. Naruto spun as fast he could, his tails ripping open the earth as he turned and roared, creating a shockwave which leveled several buildings and blew Pain away. You can't win, Pain, Naruto roared as Pain jumped to the side. He is too strong, Pain admitted as Naruto swiped a tail at him, resulting in a massive shockwave. The village is in ruins and a lot of Amanins have died. If he turns his attention on my true body, then I will surely be killed, he continued. Just then the fox started to contract and shrink. What is he doing? Is he suppressing Kyuubi's chakra? Why? Naruto sighed as the last of the red chakra left him. That was close, I almost lost control again. Even without Kyuubi influencing me, if I use the chakra for too long it will consume me. He turned his attention back to his opponent a second later. What are you waiting for? Let's finish this, he said as he felt his sage chakra replenish from his only sage clone which he had made before they started. He's already in sage mode, he's got stamina, I'll give him that. I had to confirm the power of the Kyuubi, but I never even imagined Chibaku Tensei wouldn't be enough, Pain thought tiredly. Suddenly Naraku and a resurrected animal appeared at his side. Kushios no Jutsu, Animal whispered as she summoned the remaining 3 resurrected paths. Fun, Kai, Naruto exclaimed as he released a volley of 3-pronged kunai from a pair of containment scrolls. The kunai sailed through the air and hit the ground around the 6 paths of Pain. No! Pain thought as his paths tried to jump away. It was too late. Hiraisha no Jutsu. Yellow light flashed across the battlefield and silence then reigned. 5 of the 6 paths fell to the ground, defeated including the Naraku path. Deva was breathing hard now and stood in the center of a crater with the kunai littering its edges. Obviously he had blown them away before Naruto attacked but was unable to save his other bodies, leaving only the Deva path still capable of fighting. Pain took a deep breath and asked, why don't you just give up? You have no real answer. No solution. Isn't it time for you to give up? Can I just say one thing? Naruto asked as he formed several hand seals. Futon, Kazuryudan no Jutsu, he exclaimed and threw out a punch, sending a large dragon of wind. Shinra Tensei. Pain called out and the dragon shattered. Just then he saw Naruto charging a jutsu in his hand. He can't throw that jutsu, I've got 5 seconds, I can do this. 5. Give up, Naruto shouted as the clone at his side threw into the air towards Pain. 4. He closed in, the wind aiding him as he approached. 3. Trying to make me give up. The blonde shouted. 2. Pain's eyes widened as Naruto drew closer and thrust out his jutsu towards the Deva path. 1. Rasengan. With an echoing war cry Naruto struck, burying the spiraling sphere into the Deva path's gut. 0. Pain was blown back and crashed hard into the upturned dirt scattered around the area. Naruto skidded to a halt a few feet away, breathing hard and bleeding from his eyes. He fell to one knee and coughed blood onto the ground before looking up at where Pain had fallen. I think I overdid it on that one, Naruto thought as he steadied his breathing. He shakily stood up a moment later. Sage mode is depleted and my body can't handle much more of Kyuubi's chakra, thankfully my Rinnegan has recharged. He approached the deceased Deva path and pulled out one of its chakra receivers. He stabbed it in on his hand and sent a blast of sage chakra through it. Found him, now to meet the real Pain. He threw the receiver to the side and turned towards the highest tower in the village. It was on the southern side of the city-sized village and remained standing along with almost every building. In that area, he took off onto the rooftops, leaving the battlefield where he had fought the 6 paths and closed in on the main body of Pain, Nagato. Rain Country, Ame Tower of Pain. Rasengan, The door to the main chamber exploded off its hinges and Naruto entered a moment later. Once inside he saw a pair of figures in the center, one of them sat in a sort of mechanized chair and the other was the blue-haired woman he knew as Konan. "Are you the real one?" Naruto asked the one in the chair. "So peace has arrived, eh?" Nagato inquired as his Rinnegan glowed a dull gray. "You must be Nagato," Naruto whispered as his hands clenched at his side. "Do you hate me? Now that you see me before you?" Nagato asked as he analyzed the blonde. "No," Naruto answered after a moment. "No?" Nagato inquired with narrowed eyes. "I came here to find out what I would feel if I saw the real you," Naruto whispered and looked down at the ground as his eyes darkened. "What you would feel, and?" Nagato asked. "I'm angry at you, but I don't hate you," Naruto answered and looked back up with his Rinnegan glowing pure yellow. "You don't hate me, then you are like me, you are no longer human either," Nagato commented with a sigh. "What do you mean?" Naruto asked sharply. "If you were human you would feel pure hatred of me and try to kill me. That is the way humans are and the way it has always been. Their love breeds hatred and the world becomes a harsher place to live as hatred consumes everything it touches. No human would forgive me so easily," Nagato stated clearly. "You underestimate humanity," Naruto said simply. "Perhaps, but it no longer matters," Nagato said with a sigh. "Namikaze Naruto, surrender now and we can finally bring peace to this world. We can finally break this chain of hatred," he continued. "I refuse to believe that is the only answer," Naruto declared simply. "So be it, stand aside Konan," Nagato ordered and took his arms out of the chair's supports. "Nagato, you are a descendant of the Rikudo Sennin like me and a student of Uro Sennin. You want to bring peace to the world, I understand, but what you're doing is wrong. If you accomplish your goal and create your weapon then all you will be doing is giving humanity a power that it is not ready for," Naruto stated clearly. "What do you mean?" Nagato asked intrigued. Naruto continued a moment later, "We might never be ready for that kind of power. Hell, I think the Rikudo Sennin made a mistake when he taught jutsu to the world. Humanity wasn't ready for that kind of power at the time, and we've been paying for that mistake ever since. I won't let you make another. If you do this then you'll give humanity the means to destroy itself. Using fear of weapons isn't going to work because eventually a madman is going to come along who just wants to see the world burn." Silence fell on the chamber after his declaration. "Then what do you suggest?" Nagato shot back after a moment. "Endure, keep moving forward, and ease the pain of others," Naruto answered slowly. "Like I said earlier, the world can't be saved so easily. Fighting is a part of human nature and can't be suppressed with fear," he continued as he remembered the mission to Wave Country 3 years ago. Inari and everyone else rose up to defend their home after being given hope despite their fear of Gato. "That's where your logic is flawed, Nagato." "What nonsense," Nagato shook his head at the blonde's words. "Endure? Keep moving forward? Don't make me laugh," he continued. "The only way to establish peace and order is to force everyone to feel true pain and fear." "Why do you believe that?" Naruto asked him. "Because it is the truth," Nagato shot back. "Maybe you're right, but my answer still stands. Perhaps someday the world will ready for that power, but right now we aren't. I will bring peace and order," Naruto declared. That's Nagato began. "What is it, Nagato?" Konan asked her partner. "The words of the Rikudo Sennin, I wear the 6 paths necklace, I wield the Rinnegan and I can control natural energy. You may not have been able to believe in Uro Sennin but, you can believe in me to do what's right. Help me ease the pain in this world," Naruto finished. "Nagato," Konan thought as she looked over her partner. Several moments of silence fell on the chamber. "Very well, I will believe in you, Namikaze Naruto, Senju Naruto." Nagato nodded with a sigh and removed his arms from their resting places at his side. He formed a hand seal and declared to the room, "Geto, Rin Tensei no Jutsu." "Wait. Nagato, if you use that jutsu with your current chakra levels then," Konan started. "No, this is my end. If I am to die then I will do so by easing the pain of others," Nagato whispered harshly as his skin became whiter and his hair turned gray. "Naruto, I entrust everything to you, do not disappoint me," he rasped out. "You're resurrecting everyone that died today, aren't you?" Naruto asked him sadly. "Love breeds conflict, conflict creates wars, and wars bring pain and hatred to everyone. The younger generation like you and your companions, shouldn't have to clean our mess. I wonder if this, all of this, is the will of a true god." Nagato slumped over in his chair and Konan was as he passed away with tears flowing down her cheeks. "Are you going to be okay?" Naruto asked her hesitantly as she wrapped Nagato's body up in papers. Yes, she answered after a moment. She turned to him a moment later. I need to bury Nagato and Yahiko, the Deva path you defeated. I'm sorry, Naruto apologized. You have no reason to be, you did what you felt was right and so did he. Nagato believed in you to bring peace, I will believe in you too, Konan finished. So, what now? Naruto asked her. Head down into the tunnels below the village, there, you will find Geto Mazo, and Madara, Konan answered. Thank you, Naruto bowed in respect to his fallen opponents before dashing out of the chamber. Konan watched him go silently. As soon as I bury Nagato and Yahiko, I will aid you, and kill Zetsu. Today would mark the end of the Akatsuki. One way or the other. Rain Country, Ame Akatsuki headquarters he was coming. There was no denying it now, at least not with the ruins of Amigakure no Sato overhead and the silence that now overshadowed the world around him. Uchiha Madara hurried to interface with Geto Mazo directly, knowing Pain was no doubt defeated and Konan was with him when he fell. This led to one undeniable fact. Senju Naruto had single-handedly defeated Amigakure no Sato and 2 Akatsuki members. The military power of a shinobi nation had been defeated, by one man. It was ludicrous. And now Madara had to accelerate his plan knowing that the Kyuubi Jinchuriki was now too strong to face in his weakened form. His only hope now was to attempt to unleash Geto Mazo on that Senju brat and rip the rest of Kyuubi's chakra from his corpse. Suddenly he heard footsteps coming down the corridor just as the chakra spikes from Geto Mazo had punctured his skin. He turned as he drew on the power contained within the statue and glared at the approaching Rakudime Hokage who was just entering the room now. Uchiha Madara, Naruto growled out when he saw the masked Akatsuki benefactor. You are too late Senju, I have completely interfaced with Geto Mazo, even without the Kyuubi's Yang chakra there are still 9 taels worth of power inside Geto Mazo, within moments I will release the Kyuubi and become its Jinchuriki. Madara sneered as chakra started to swirl around his body. I won't let that happen, Naruto stated clearly. And how do you plan to stop me? I have already merged the Bijou back into the Kyuubi within Geto Mazo, the only thing missing, is you. The moment the words left Madara's mouth the mouth of the statue opened and a spirit-like dragon shot out towards Naruto. Crap. Naruto thought as he narrowly dodged to the side. Shinra Tensei. He called out but it had no effect on the dragon. That's definitely not a physical jutsu, it's not even like an Oni jutsu, it's something else. Dai Senju, Madara shouted in fury as the dragon swooned around and then struck Naruto in the chest. Damn it, Naruto gasped in surprise as he felt his chakra and soul being ripped from his body. I win, Fun, Madara exclaimed as the Kyuubi's Yang chakra was consumed by Geto Mazo. Geto, Rinnegan Tensei no Jutsu, Naruto's spirit whispered as he formed a hand seal. Suddenly and violently his spirit was pulled back into his body and he stood up. Now you're pissing me off. So you've mastered the powers of life and death, huh? It doesn't matter now, Haki no Fun Shiki, Madara exclaimed as the chakra in the statue engulfed his body and began to expand. I won't let you do this, Naruto shouted out and formed a hand seal. Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, 2 clones popped into existence at his side and started channeling chakra to his hand. Futon, Rasengan. Naruto called out as he plunged the spinning chakra ball into center eye of the statue. In that moment the mouth of Geto Mazo opened. You fool. What have you done? Madara demanded as the chakra spike retracted. Stopped you from becoming the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, Naruto shot back. Suddenly chakra started cascading from the statue. Now what? That's, Madara whispered with narrowed eyes as a figure shot out of the statue's mouth, with 10 tails. Pitiful little things such as you have no right to wield my power, the Kyuubi said with a sinister sneer. It shot forward and plunged all 10 of its tails into Madara's chest. You should have known your place, child of my enemy. No, I am, you master, I will become, a god, no, Madara rasped out as his body slowly burned away. Only a true sage can interface completely and control the Geto Mazo. Naruto looked over at the statue and formed a hand seal. Chakra spikes shot out of it and dug into his body forcing him to grunt in pain. He then gathered as much sage chakra as he could and poured it all directly into his Rinnegan. The Kyuubi saw this and turned quickly to deal with him. Hold still mortal. The beast roared as it shot forward. Naruto lifted up his shirt to expose the seal on his stomach and brought down his hand on top of it. Kai. The seal distorted and he formed a hand seal. No. The Kyuubi shouted in anger as it realized what the blonde was doing. Ura Shishu Fuinjutsu, Naruto exclaimed. 4 symbols shot into the air around him and formed a dome around the two. Fun. He finished as the Juubi was sucked in and he brought his hand back down on the seal, closing it with the key seal on his hand. Silence. Getomazo, Naruto whispered as the chakra was pulled out of his body slowly by the statue until it was all gone. He formed a familiar hand seal and 2 clones appeared at his side, Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. He held out his hand and said to them, "Come on guys. We need to destroy all trace of Getomazo right now, so we'll use the jutsu." It was the one jutsu which his father was never able to finish, the true Futon, Rasengan, capable of destroying an entire city in an instant. He had never been able to complete it because of the chakra requirements, and neither could Naruto, but that changed when Naruto gained full access to Kyuubi's chakra via the key. Futon, Raz and Kamikaze. It was over. And so Naruto had become the Nidaime Rikudo Senin. Rain Country, Ame Battlefield. Yugito stopped suddenly and snapped her gaze up towards the nearby river. Her eyes widened at the levels of chakra she was sensing and quickly turned towards the rest of Alliance Nins. "Everyone get down," she shouted frantically just before the river was engulfed in a massive spinning ball of wind and power. "What the fuck is that?" Tuya shouted in surprise as it shredded everything it touched and tried to draw them in. "I think that's Naruto," Yugito shouted back over the raging winds. A moment later the ball exploded in a massive blast of wind, knocking them all down and turning the river into a nice and large future lake. After a moment of silence everyone managed to stand once more, albeit with effort. "I have detected Hokage-sama exiting the crater, Kitty," Sai reported. "That moron," Yugito said with annoyance to cover her rising fear. Naruto's first glimpse of sunlight came when he exited the cloud of smoke and stepped out onto the scorched battlefield where he had fought the Rikudo pain. He managed to take another 3 steps forward before collapsing from exhaustion, only to be caught by his fiancée. "Yugito?" Naruto asked as she laid him down on the ground. "You reckless idiot," the Raikage spoke through, gritted out as she started healing his wounds. "What the hell were you thinking attacking the Akatsuki's stronghold all alone?" "Hey, it seemed like a good idea at the time," Naruto chuckled and winced. Yugito just smiled as he fell into unconsciousness. Fire Country, Konoha Academy. And so the Akatsuki War came to a close with the unification of the elemental countries. "Now does anyone know what happened to Shodai-sama and his wife?" asked the female academy, Yue. A hand rose up. "Yes, Hikari?" "No one knows," answered Uzumaki Hikari. "There have been rumors about where they went, but no one knows for sure where they went." "Correct," Yue nodded in confirmation. When Namikaze Yugito stepped down as Raikage, they both disappeared and haven't been seen since. Another student put their hand up. "Yes, Usagi?" "In the textbooks it says that the Rinnegan is the most powerful bloodline in known existence, but only 4 people have ever been recorded to have it." "How?" "I mean, back during the Shinobi Wars no secret was ever kept for long, especially when it was powerful, so how come no one knew about the Rinnegan?" asked Yamanaka Usagi. "That is a very good question, but you need to remember anyone who survives a fight with a Rinnegan user is extremely lucky. For instance, no one knew that the Akatsuki leader, Pain, wielded the Rinnegan until the beginning of the Akatsuki War," Yue stated. "Why do we need to learn this? Shouldn't we be learning how to be ninja instead of finding out how many hairs were on the goddamn Hokage's back?" scoffed Hyuga. Yue sent him a disapproving look and responded, "Learning from mistakes in the past allows you to stop yourself from making the same mistakes." Again Ryo scoffed, "Whatever. You should remember that the peace we have now is because of the actions of these people," Yue continued. "If things had turned out differently and, for example, Shodai-sama didn't awaken his Rinnegan, the war could have easily turned out differently and the Juubi could have been let loose on the world even to this day." "Yeah, well, it's dead now, right?" Hikari asked, unsure. "That is a question without an answer," Yue responded. "We know for a fact that the Juubi's chakra core was sealed with Shodai-sama at the conclusion of the Battle of the Rain, but by all rights the demon should have been released when Shodai-sama died, just like it would have if the Rikudo Senin had died before sealing it inside the moon." "So what happened to it?" Usagi asked, blinked in confusion. "Perhaps it's better if we didn't know," Yue mused with a shrug. She then smiled when the bell went off. "Alright class, that's enough for today, dismissed." They left a moment later and she sighed as she looked out of the window at the 7th face on the monument. "What a long day. Did you have to go through this, Konohamaru-sensei?" Excuse me?" She turned to see a blonde-haired child, roughly 11 years old, standing in the doorway wearing a black and orange jumpsuit. "Yes?" Yue asked. "I don't believe I know you, nor have I seen you around school. New student?" Yeah, Hokage-sama just approved of my enrollment, but I'm kind of lost, the blonde replied, unsure. Konohamaru-sensei personally allowed you to enroll? Where are your parents? Yue asked, confused. There, at work, the youth replied vaguely. Alright then, what's your name? Yue asked with a shrug. Namikaze Minato, the blonde replied as his eyes glowed gray and took on the pattern of the Rinnegan. That's it for this video. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and follow me on my other social media accounts. Anime God here, and I'm signing off.